Hello, you guys. You guys. Um, Strawberry Moon upcoming. And full moons are usually, can be looked at as the time to release something. New moon sort of set the intention. Full moon, like take your hands off the wheel in a certain way. Doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go. But not in the sense of like, it's more like, bring it. You know, I've done what I can do. I'm releasing it back to y'all. Which brings me to, I never know exactly how to name the big self, the great spirit, however you want to call it. And my sister the other day said it's another word for it. And I think it was, I'm not sure what the source was, but some traditions call it the forgotten one. And I really like that because, you know, for us, there's a search, but there's also remembering who we are and how the we involves that remembering the forgotten one. And I like it that, you know, if there can be a mode where everybody's your teacher, the one who gives you that new concept that allows you to remember something, be reminded of something, have the new perspective. You know, to be open to it. And I'm wondering if there's another. Oh, the idea of being, okay, this is a good example. I met somebody for lunch, didn't know this person, they didn't know me, but we were sort of open to, you know, finding out a little bit about one another. And this sent me into a kind of flurry of, you know, can I present myself as I am? Is there any point in kind of trying to, you know, polish something up or, you know, present a more, what I conceive of as is there any advantage in dropping aspects of myself in order to mesh with somebody else? And I think when you're meeting somebody for the first time, right from the get-go, there's the opportunity to, I mean, you don't go bleh and give them the whole self at once, not possible. But from the beginning, to be who you are saves a lot of time and effort down the road when you have to say, well, this is actually who I am. It's nothing like what I showed you. You know, we out of the Jack in the Box, sort of like da-da, 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 pop goes the, you know. So there's something about showing up authentically at the beginning. And when I met this guy, I think he said something about you know, I like the way you look. I like your pants or something like that. And I said, this is me. And he said, well, this is me. And even though it started off with kind of that awkward date, and this wasn't even really a date, maybe it's sort of a date, which I haven't done for years and years and years. So I'm out of practice. I'm used to dealing with people who already know me and kind of accept me for what I am. So there's this is me. And then as we go forward, we'll discover more about each other that may be deal breakers, or maybe the doorway into a real relationship. You just need to take it step by step, and hopefully not fake it in order to quicken the connection, or, you know, I mean, there's really a chance to not reveal something that you think might be misunderstood, or just to reveal it and put it out there and let the other person do their end of the thing. At least for me, you know, I mean, from childhood, wanting to not rock the boat, or, you know, how does this person need to see me? I'll accommodate. I felt like getting up. I don't know why. It's not time to stand up and walk away. Something about that. Just sit down. Well, it's that quote from yesterday. Don't apologize for your voice, your thighs, your opinions, any of that. You know, be your sexy self, I think was the quote. And celebrate joy. Celebrate living by living. So, I think that's it. Strawberry Moon. What are we releasing? Perhaps it's that idea that I need to package myself, fit myself, you know, put a bow on top and say, this is who I am. When it's not. Say, this is who I am, and it is. Which entails other thing. I'm sorry, I interrupt myself, but the other thing I wrote down was that High Priestess, the visionary, not only reads the vibes of other people to assess what's true and what's not, she reads her own vibes. You know, she reads her own vibes to sort of hold herself to the standard of her own intuition. You know, am I being real? Am I vibing am I reading the vibes correctly? Particularly from the starting point of, who am I? Like, this is me. Something. First card out, Six of Swords. Movement into a more peaceful place. The liminal space between one thing and another. It has to do with sword energy, beliefs, communication. In this case, it seems to be some sort of mental state that's transforming. See the butterfly. You know, and it isn't like, poof, everything's transformed all at once. This is a crossing over into clarity. And once things are clear and kind of underway, untraditional right away, it depicts a boat. Here it depicts the water, and this sort of jumping off place for the butterfly. Begin the transformation. On the basis of something you have come to understand or believe in. Fairly fast energy. You know, when they won't go back in, they belong out. Some just say, take me out. Okay. More sword energy, King of Swords out next. King of Swords would know. She said, poking herself in the eye. I realized I didn't have my glasses on yesterday when I went and tried to read the phone or something, and I couldn't see. I didn't apparently need to read the cards. I don't need reading glasses. This is somebody who can see. You know, they don't need some external thing to focus and see. They believe in themselves. They believe in themselves. Perhaps as they're on this journey. And again, it harkens back to, you know, here I am. This is me. I know myself. 5 of Swords. All sword energy so far. And this card often can mean struggle and strife with somebody else. But what we see on this card is somebody, you know, kind of getting through the obstacle, which is a mental block. Right? Moving on from it. Somebody who knows themselves. And we have the bird in this one, you know, extricating, and the butterfly here on the rise. And right in the middle, King of Swords. Like raising his... The sword can be communication. It can also be the thing that cuts through. Gets to clarity by cutting through something. Under 6 of Swords, we have 2 of Pentacles. The choice to move on, the choice to embark. And not only a choice, it's a clear choice based on truth and resulting from this weighing up, looking at it, seeing it, and making a choice perhaps to leave somewhere or to go somewhere. Maybe just in terms of how they think about something. Or conceivably in a physical move. Getting out of one situation and going somewhere else. Kind of first, perhaps, conceiving of it and then doing it in Pentacles energy, which are real in the 3D. I'm making a choice about how I live and what I invest in, what matters to me. I've weighed that up. I've thought about it a lot. I've pictured it. This guy, remember I talked about High Priestess being a visionary? Well, so's this character. King of Swords, he, she, they. The one who knows themselves and knows where to go and is comfortable with the time in that crossing, you're not there on land yet. You don't know, there's an element of sort of not knowing too, but being okay with that because you know yourself, something like that. Again, a card of movement. This is Eight of Cups, the migratory bird. You know, this is it looks like a Canada goose. People call it Canadian goose, but including myself, and then I was corrected. Canada goose. The one who knows where to go, has the magnetic homing device in their brain. Sword energy is that kind of brainy knowing put into action. Eight of Cups, the instinctual inner knowing it's time to go. Time to go to the next, you know, time to go home. And home might then, I mean, geese go here till it's time to go there. So it's not like a crossing over to a destination that's then fixed. We repeat this process of feeling pulled by our feelings when to go, and by our analytical, you know, our clarity in knowing, clarity in feeling. Both are transforming because of a choice. And it's both a choice and not a choice. You know, it's not like choosing it on the basis of, well, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. It's like choosing what's real, Pentacles energy. Based on this Canada Goose thing that goes beyond knowledge, intellectual knowledge. And under Five of Swords, Five of Cups, the impediment, the thing that your brain threw up ideas that prevented forward movement, had to do with grief. You couldn't move forward because you were kind of stuck in, I mean, she's up to her it seems to me everything from here down is in darkness, is in the wash. And that's sort of in chakra mapping, that this is the solar plexus. That's the thing that is purposeful and would drive you forward, kind of Wands energy. But here she's stuck in, you know, the sea of emotion. Have you ever tried to run in water? You know, if you're up to here in water, I mean, in a literal, in a pool or in the ocean, you can't, you know, you don't get much traction. That's kind of what this is. But it's right next to Eight of Cups. That intuitive knowing where to go in order to feel something. And I think it's moving on from only feeling sadness. It's a choice. And here we got it again, a choice, a crossroads. Sometimes between two things that are true. that you have to make a decision anyway, and perhaps not based on entirely on this character's intellectual weighing up. You know, it's weighing up on the basis of something more tangible and real, not just on the idea, what happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? I'll try to think it through. And this is sort of like, jump in. You know, this decision will not be made by kind of standing on the diving board. Jump in. Hit the ground running kind of thing. I like that because hit the ground running is a little bit what this is. Hit the ground running. You know, make the decision and go for it. Go for the real thing. Okay. On that choice, go for the real thing. Guided by the kind of mechanical, not by the mechanical, by the magnetic pull of Cups energy, feeling, boy, they're wanting to jump. A choice. Well, that's pretty clear. In terms of clarity and sword energy, the choice is pain or happiness. And the pain part seems to be the sword energy that's unresolved. And I think it's like, do you go backwards to try to ruminate and rethink and re-injure? It's almost like the image I'm getting is sort of like, do you go backwards with a sprained ankle that isn't healed yet, and kind of re-injure yourself, like that avenue in this Two of Swords. Where did it go? Two of Swords was on the, God, I hate it when that happens. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there was a Two of Swords. Which way do I go? I guess I turn the deck over. Let me see. Nope. Power. One avenue, and maybe it was just in this Pentacle, Two of Pentacles. What do I make real? What matters to me? To revisit the pain? Or to find my way in one's energy? By opening up to my intuition, revealing that. This is a card of happiness and revelation. Go toward the light. Don't backtrack. That seems to be the advice. Choose happiness. I mean, in a way, who wouldn't? You know, but breaking free, this image of the Five of Swords does entail a turning around, you know, in Rider-Waite. There's the person in mourning and the cups behind them. This person is also in mourning and can't move forward. Can't run in water. Can't escape. Trapped by their own grief. 2 5s is 10. 10 is Wheel of Fortune. The business of moving it forward, And I'm seeing these now as the wheels. Each pentacle is a wheel. Move it forward. Kind of out of the head, out of the memory of hurt. Into happiness and warmth. Out of sword energy in its coldest aspect. To revelation. That's it. Thank you. To revelation. It's a sword energy, but it's not cold at all. It's kind of opening to the knowledge of, I know enough to choose happiness. Two of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Sun. I know enough. I know who I am. I know what happiness looks like to me. I'm clear about that. I'm a visionary. And in the sense of sun being the revelation, I see it. I'm clear on this. I know what makes me happy and what makes me sad, and I'm choosing happiness, and I'm going toward it. I'm leaving behind, this. The struggle, the strife. Because I've escaped. I've gotten through these swords that were blocking my way, these thoughts that were blocking my way. I'm clear now, and I can move forward. Six of Swords. From my sadness, I take off. I fly to the love that I know is there. I don't dwell in the place, up to my... It's like the rising waters. If you stay there anymore, it's sort of drowning in your own tears. This is the bird taking flight. I think that's it. They seem to be wrapping much faster these days. The stories are more concise. Something's becoming, something's becoming clear. Perhaps in the story. You're a visionary. You've cleared the air. You're moving, you're not choosing to re-injure yourself. And there was something about this state of grief that was injuring yourself and preventing movement. That's been resolved. You're flying free, kind of. From pain into light. This is the only major arcana on the board. This is the strongest influence, and it's happiness and warmth. Geese, back to the geese, they fly to the warm place. They migrate to the warm place. In the winter, they go south. In the summer, they go north. And it's something about the poles, the magnetic pull of the poles. Because these are poles, polar opposites. To dwell in the pain, to re-injure, or to choose happiness. That's a pretty concise message. In sword energy, the message, the communication, the way of understanding it is clear. And this is the major arcana. It might be happening in Leo time. because there is a period of travel and movement. That liminal space, the crossing, is underway because you've made the choice to go. And there are ships in the background here. There may be travel involved, but it's certainly travel on the deep level of something beyond your daily life. It's a movement that brings you into kind of high happiness. It's bright, it's warm, you're pulled to it. It's high happiness. Yay, yippee. That's very nice. On the strawberry moon, you begin this crossing. And it is a release. It is a release. I said full moons are about release. A release. Moving through the mental obstacle, allowing for forward movement. A releasing of being trapped, 5 of Swords, and of sadness. Working through these emotions. 5 of Cups to 8 of Cups. Working through the emotions now. A liberated and in movement toward happiness, toward warmth. That's a victory. Good on you. Coming into clarity. Choosing pain. Can't believe I said that. I mean, it is the poles. And maybe that choice is still pending somehow. Maybe you chose pain in the past, because pentacles speak to time. Maybe it's been 2 years in consideration, or 2 years that you needed to process the sadness and the pain. But you're really approaching a time of happiness. You're traveling toward that, toward clarity. Toward clarity about also what hurt maybe and why. That's being revealed to you as well. Because you have a new understanding, both in your mind and in your heart. Both. 2 of Pentacles. In your mind,